यस। गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। हमारा जो वीकली वेबिनार सीरीज जो चल रही है उसमें से आज के वेबिनार में आप सबका स्वागत है। पण दर शनिवारी 5 ते 6 आपण हा वेबिनार घेत असतो आणि वेगवेगळे आपले जे टॉपिक आहेत क्लायमेट चेंज रिलेटेड असतील, डिझास्टर मॅनेजमेंट असेल, वॉटर कॉन्झर्वेशन आहे, वेस्ट मॅनेजमेंट रिलेटेड आहे, तर अशा वेगळ्या थिमॅटिक एरियाजना आपण टच करत असतो आणि त्यावेळी आपल्यासोबत इच टाइम वी हॅव वन गेस्ट स्पीकर की हु इज एक्सपर्ट इन दॅट फील्ड, ऍक्च्युअली प्रॅक्टिसिंग इन दॅट फील्ड, and they share their thoughts, their journey, what are the opportunities for youth, particularly in that particular sector, for their career and related to maybe uh, green entrepreneurship or green skilling, green jobs. So that we keep sharing. So today we have with us Shailesh. But before introducing Shailesh, I would like to also introduce myself before. So I'm Avdut. I work with Center for Environment Education, which is one of the, you can say, the partner in the Mahayuth for Climate Action Network. That is UNICEF is there, UNICEF Maharashtra, Center for Environment Education, and there is Aquadam. So Aquadam is an organization who particularly works on groundwater. So these three organizations had started this network in 2022, which is particularly a network of youth in Maharashtra who are interested to work in climate change, climate advocacy, and allied sectors. So we have a network in almost, we have, you can say, volunteers or members, you can say, in almost every districts of Maharashtra who are working at their capacities, let it be towards climate action, towards spreading awareness, or also in the policy advocacy. So today, our special topic is about waste management, and we have with us Shailesh Shinde, who is also a friend of mine, and currently he is a director at Social Lab Environmental Solutions Private Limited, and which is a circular economy startup, and it was founded around 5 years ago. Briefly, I will just introduce Shailesh and give his background. So after completing his graduation in computer engineering, Shailesh has worked with Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, for 3 years, and then completed his post-graduation in social entrepreneurship from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. That is TIS Mumbai. And after that, since 5 years, Shailesh is associated with Social Lab as a director. So mainly, when we talk about waste management, then basically waste is such a you can say the topic which is kind of on priority for our youth also and our local governments also, which is a kind of a pressing issues related to waste management. So that's why we are called Shailesh to discuss with us how we can address these problems, particularly in smaller towns related to plastic waste. What is the EPR? How the companies can support the local governments through EPR and other policy mandates. That we will also hear from Shailesh. And also we'll hear about the journey of Social Lab till now. So I welcome Shailesh for today's webinar. And if participants have any questions, any comments, you can put in the Q&A section, and also in the chat box. So Shailesh, I welcome you. You can just share your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Avdut.
Uh,
That was a good introduction. I don't think I need to add more. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll.
Uh, I'm
Yeah,
not able to see your video. Can you just,
acha.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, yes. So, yeah, uh, I'll start quickly with a brief journey of Social Lab because we'd like to take more and more questions and make it an interactive session. So, Social Lab, as you mentioned, we started 5 years before. The concept at that time was very simple to provide circular waste management solutions to smaller cities. Like our first project was a small town having a population of 20,000 in Dhule district called Shinkheda. And there we established that smaller municipality in plugging loopholes in their solid waste management system. Now, when I say ki plugging loopholes, I mean every smaller town or every city has some kind of system for managing their waste. Someone comes to our doorstep, they collect the dry and wet waste from us. Then they put it in a vehicle. The vehicle makes round of the entire city and then goes to a dumping ground or a sorting station. So, but eventually, whatever we see is not a segregated waste where each kind of material is treated as a waste, not as a resource. So, when we say waste can be treated as a resource, plastic can be again converted into other plastic products. Cloth can be used for some other things. Wet waste can be converted into compost. Glass can be recycled 100%. Metal can be recycled. So, for all kinds of materials that we discard from our home, not necessarily all of them are recycled and put into use again. And this happens because the system that operates at every town has some loopholes. So we started by providing consulting to the municipal councils in identifying these loopholes. So we interacted with the citizens, we interacted with the sanitary staff, and then did some consulting with the municipal bodies. So this started in 2018 in Chinkheda. From that beginning till now, we have reached to almost 20 lakh people. We have taken more than training session for more than 1,000 sanitation staff and help them do their job in a better way. So this is one aspect of our work from Chinkheda till reaching 20 lakh people. Now we are working in Mumbai, we are working in Pune also, we are working in Baramati and some major cities also. So this is one aspect of our work where we help the municipalities in improving their system for solid waste management. The second work that we do is related to EPR consulting. I'll come to EPR in detail after some time. EPR is a new concept in India and basically it is based on the polluter pays principle. So we are doing EPR consulting for almost 450 clients all across India. They are spread across, I believe, 20 states. And through EPR, we have ensured that we have channelized more than 50,000 metric tons of plastic waste from landfill to either recycling or energy recovery. So this is the second work that we do. And the third work that we do is consulting on sustainability related areas like uh, now ESG is there, carbon footprint is there, carbon accounting is there. So we have started working on these areas also, and we have started consulting on those aspects. So this is a brief journey of Social Lab in the last 5.5 years. We are a 40 plus strong team right now, which is divided into EPR team of around 15 people and solid waste management team of around 25 people. So this was a small brief introduction about Social Lab and what we have done in the last 5.5 years. I'd like to come to the topic of EPR now because I can give some idea on that EPR and it will help you in identifying the career opportunities also. So as I mentioned earlier, EPR is based on the polluter pays principle. So when we say polluter pays principle, it means that whatever the pollution is happening in the environment, someone needs to be accountable for that. Someone should take responsibility. And as per this principle, the responsibility is set on companies. For example, uh, we buy a Bisleri bottle, we drink water and throw the bottle. Now, when we go to a shop and buy the bottle, we don't ask the shopkeeper for giving us a plastic bottle. We ask the shopkeeper for giving us water. But the shopkeeper gives us water in a plastic bottle because a company called Bisleri has delivered the product in that way. So in a way, it is the decision of the company, Bisleri company, to sell its product, which is water, in plastic packaging. If tomorrow Bisleri decides to sell water in glass, then there will be no plastic packaging available in the market because of Bisleri. So it depends on the decision of the company as to what kind of material or what kind of packaging is to be used for selling their products. So when as a consumer we buy the product, use the product and discard the packaging becomes waste, and that waste creates problem in the environment. And the responsibility of ensuring that there is no problem or no pollution in the environment because of that waste lies on the company, not the consumer like us. So this is the concept behind polluter pays principle, and EPR is basically based on this. So it started its journey in Europe in 1990s, and India adopted it somewhere in 2016. It actually started with electronic waste, and now it is in all kinds of waste streams. You imagine the waste stream and it is there. So EPR is there in electronic waste, EPR is there in plastic waste, it is there in battery waste, it is there in tire waste, it is there in lubricant oil also. Maybe it will come in textile also. In Netherlands, it's launched. EPR is applicable for textile also, the clothes that we discard. So EPR is a concept which basically focuses on how we look at resources as resources only. EPR tries to change the focus of take, take, and discard approach, which is a linear approach. Take, and discard means we produce something, we take something, use it, and then discard. So this is a linear approach. Once we discard, then that material is of no use. So EPR tries to convert this linear approach into a circular approach, wherein we make something, we use something, then we not necessarily discard, but we give that resources to someone else who use it for recycling or converting the same material into different products, and the same product or the same material is back in the market once again. So the circular chain of these materials keeps on going, and there is no additional burden on the earth for mining these materials or extracting resources afresh. So this is the concept behind EPR. EPR in plastic waste, to be specific, is there since 2016, and in the last 8 years, the government has tried to be highly ambitious with these rules. The result of this ambitious and aggressive approach is that there is a lot of confusion among the obligated entities, and people are not able to understand what is exactly to be done. If someone understands what is to be done, then they are not sure how it is to be done. So that brings us to another context when we say if there are any career opportunities in this. So this is entirely driven by policy from 2016. But given the policy push and as well as the situation that we are facing right now, which is of climate change, everywhere we go, we hear these words like climate change is happening, then everything must be sustainable, everything must be eco-friendly. So this is not only a policy change, this is also internal initiative or mandatory initiative of major companies also. No company today wants to be seen as they are not sustainable. No company wants to be seen as they are polluting the environment. If they are seen in that way, then the fortunes of the company will not be good. Everyone understands this, and that's why there are many opportunities in the sustainability domain. When we say there are many opportunities, those opportunities are in giving consulting, those opportunities are in manufacturing sector also. So today's example is there. So everyone knows Reliance Industries. So Reliance has developed a technology wherein they can take the plastic waste, convert it into oil once again, and from that oil they can produce new plastic as if it is new. So currently plastic is made from crude oil. We need to drill crude oil from the oil wells and then convert it into plastic. But with this technology that Reliance has developed, crude oil may not be necessarily used for making plastic. From the same plastic, we can make again new plastic. This is not traditional recycling. For example, let us say you have a Harpic bottle or a shampoo bottle. We use that shampoo or we use that chemical and throw it. Whenever we throw it in our dustbin, it goes through a cycle of waste picker, scrap dealer, then recycler. What happens to that bottle after we throw, we necessarily don't know. In most of the cases, that bottle is converted into a pot or some, what we can say, you might have seen large blue drums which are stored for water. So that Harpic bottle or a shampoo bottle is hardly reconverted into a Harpic bottle. But with this technology which is developed by Reliance, and there are many such technologies which are happening under development. So plastic can be reconverted into plastic and it will have the same quality. It will not have any uh, contamination and all those things. So this is latest example of what can be done through innovation and technology in the recycling sector. Similarly, when we say manufacturing sector, see, you imagine your daily life, you see that you are taking some product and throwing it in your dustbin. That product travels all the city, it collects all the dust, everything, and finally it goes for recycling. So it accumulates lot of contamination. So when we say manufacturing, there are many opportunities in improving the technology also. Ki how plastic can be recycled better. Not only plastic, take any material. Glass is there. Glass is the only resource in this world which can be recycled 100% and it can be used n number of times. With plastic, you can use it only 3 or 4 times. You can recycle 3 or 4 times and then the plastic is of no use. It loses all the properties. But that is not the case with glass. You can recycle the glass n number of times, 100 times, 200 times, like that. And when we see at this sector, the sector is still unorganized. The sector is completely dominated by informal sector who are very small in nature of their operations. There are rack pickers, there are small kabadi wala, they don't have proper resources, and there are many opportunities in consolidation, in giving proper service. Even data analysis is a very good opportunity in this because this entire system is informal. No one knows how much plastic is produced, how much glass is produced, how much waste is produced. It's all based on some estimates. There is no real time data available about the waste that we produce. So there are multiple kinds of opportunities in consulting, in manufacturing, in data analysis, in all these sectors. Another opportunity that is emerging right now is consulting in sustainability sector. Carbon footprint is there, ESG consulting is there. ESG, I don't know if you know about ESG, but ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Traditionally, the companies were evaluated on their performance, which is mostly profits, how the company is performing, how the products of the company is performing. But nowadays, companies are evaluated on the basis of their ESG score. What good the company is doing for environment, what good the company is doing for the people in general. Social means, I mean, if the company is doing any CSR activity, if the company is uh, doing some good for the community, like arranging medical camps, uh, providing education in schools, like that. So this all comes under social part. And then governance. If the company is following all the rules and regulations of the land properly, if the company is not getting involved into any corruption activities. So these are the new parameters on which the companies are being evaluated nowadays. And ESG has a huge scope in the coming days. More to give an example, right now ESG reporting is mandatory for only 1,000 companies in India. The topmost 1,000 companies, they are only required to report on ESG parameters. So this is 2030, 2023. From next year onwards, it will be expanded to other companies also. It will go on to 1,500 companies. It will go on to 200 companies, 2,000 companies, 3,000. And as and when the number of companies is increasing, the service providers are not increasing in that proportion. So multiple opportunities are going to be opened up, because ESG is not only a single factor. There are multiple things which are required to be done in ESG. So this is one thing. Another thing that is very promising is what happens in the external markets. ESG, APR, the context is only from the point of India. The government of India has put some rules and regulations, and based on that, the companies are trying to adopt. But ESG is a global concept, EPR is a global concept, and whatever happens outside India, it has implications on India also. For example, from October onwards, the European Union has uh, made it mandatory for companies which are exporting to Europe to perform what we can say is carbon accounting. So let us say there is a company called Volkswagen which is operating from Germany, and that company needs to buy, let us say, steel from India. Now, a company like Tata Steel, which is manufacturing steel and exporting it to Germany, Tata Steel will need to report how much carbon has been emitted because of these activities. And if European Commission finds that those levels are not acceptable, then they will impose additional taxes. So the product of Tata Steel or whatever company, they will become costlier. And if it becomes costly, that means our exports to other companies are becoming costly, and the business will no longer be viable for us. So the rules and regulations are set by some other governments, some other countries, but we need to adopt according to that. So the companies which are based in India, they need to ensure that their carbon emissions are up to a certain level only. They have proper framework, they have proper mechanism to monitor everything. Because from October, as I said, this is mandatory on only four sectors: steel, fertilizer, then coal, and hydrogen. By 2030, it will be applicable on each and every sector. So if any company in India which is trying to export its product to Europe, it can be anything. It can be bananas, it can be roses, it can be wheat, it can be steel, it can be mobiles, anything. If that doesn't follow the norms, then it will not be viable to continue the exports, and there can be job losses. So if this has to be avoided, there needs to be someone who will explain these rules and regulations to our own companies and help them become compliant with the rules and regulations of not only India but other countries also. So in this way, a lot of uh, new areas are emerging in which all kinds of career opportunities will arise. Maybe it will be manufacturing, it will be what we can say consulting, providing some service. I can give another example. So social lab, as I mentioned earlier, we are mostly working in consulting to the municipal bodies and providing EPR services to some companies. But based on this sustainability domain and the experience that we have gathered, we have started a new company called as 3R Solutions. So through this new company, what we are trying to do is, all of you must have seen Pepsi or Coca-Cola glass bottle. We buy it for, let us say, 10 rupees, and we drink the uh, beverage, and then we return the glass bottle to the shopkeeper. Shopkeeper collects all these bottles, and the shopkeeper gives the bottles to again Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Same thing is happening in the milk sector also. Nowadays, A2 milk is being delivered in glass bottles. The glass bottles are again collected by the milkman, and then those are cleaned, washed, and again milk or Coca-Cola is put into that glass and delivered to us. We don't object to this. I mean, we never know ki how many times that glass bottle is reused. But that reuse is going on since many decades. This is not a new concept. This is going on since I was a child. This is going on since my father was also a child. So, and it is still going on. But the same thing is not happening in plastic. You might be knowing that Asian Paints is a company which uh, puts its paint in a 20-liter bucket and then puts into market. Whenever we have to give color to our home, we buy paint of Asian Paints, Berger, or anything, Dulux. And when we discard those paint buckets, we really don't know what happens to that. Mostly it goes for storing water or planting of trees, but the same bucket is never used for putting the paint again inside that and delivering in the market. So right now through 3R solutions, we are trying to working on this concept where the paint buckets are collected from the market. They are recovered, they are reconditioned, they are cleaned, and then given again back to the paint company so that the paint company puts the paint into that and delivers to the market. So such type of multiple things are emerging, and if you develop a keen eye towards this sector, then you will definitely find multiple opportunities. I think I should stop here because I see multiple hands raised, and we should take some questions because that will add more value.
Yes. If anyone has questions, you can put in chat box and also Q&A section. Uh, I think that hand was raised by mistake. Maybe somebody's hand was raised. Yeah. Uh, I would like to ask you also till the others can pitch in their with their questions. But मेनली जो अभी ग्रीन क्लब के हमारे यूथ है या फिर माइका के यूथ है तो मेनली when you start doing something at your local level then the waste management is the one of the thing कि जहाँ से वो start करते हैं one of the thing is a tree plantation जो मतलब relatively easy to do kind of thing and other is a cleanup drives or beach cleanup drives हो गए या फिर within their campus or within their localities communities ऐसे बट इशू आता है कि ये कलेक्ट करने के बाद उसका करेंगे क्या because mostly you don't find PET bottles there which can be easily given to scrap dealers and all So all kind of a low value plastic basically you get when you do some kind of a cleanup drive, and some other material also, maybe rubber, cloth. So what to do with the low value plastic is the you can say इशू हियर कैन बी ग्लास रिसाइकल हो जाएगा, मेटल आपको कहीं ऐसा रोड पे पड़ा हुआ नहीं दिखेगा। प्लास्टिक में बोले तो ये पीईटी बॉटल्स, वाटर बॉटल्स, नॉर्मली हमें रोड पे वेरी रेयरली यू फाइंड कि रोड पे ऐसे ही somebody picks it up, maybe a waste picker or a कबाड़ी, and they it's goes to its uh, cycle like recycling हो गया और नहीं। बट ये लो वैल्यू प्लास्टिक का रियली इशू हो जाता है। सो व्हाट कैन बी डन फॉर दैट, माय question, and particularly not only in metros also but also smaller cities.
Low value plastic, for example, the polythenes that we use, or in some cases, we see carry bags being used.
Yeah,
So this
MLP.
is MLP. Well, see MLP, when we say, for example, the Maggie packet or the chips packet. In low value plastic also there are two types which we can distinguish clearly. Uh, Carry bag, milk pouch, or sugar, grocery polythene. This is still recyclable. It can be in many of the cases they are still collected, not even in metros, but even in smaller cities. They are collected and they are recycled and put into some product like uh, in agriculture we find those black pipes,
Yeah, yeah,
not the
yeah.
drip irrigation, but there are larger pipes which are used for irrigation, not the drip irrigation. So
Okay.
those pipes are really made from this kind of plastic, polythene, carry bag, etc. However, when we come to the MLP, the Maggie packet or the chips packet, well, solution for that it's still difficult. There is as
Yeah.
such uh, no concrete solution. That's why we have the problem. If if we had the solution, then the problem of waste would not be that much. However, if it is properly collected, segregated, then nowadays even in smaller towns, recycling units are being set up. If we go to the periphery, we might not necessarily know about that,
Yeah.
but even in peripheries, recycling units are operating. I have seen this in many districts of Maharashtra. When you take any district, you uh, uh, it not be there in maybe Gondia, Bhandara, but you take it from Palghar till Kolhapur, or you take from Aurangabad to Nagpur. In each and every district, you'll find some recycling units which are operating from the periphery, which are not visible to anyone, but they mostly take this plastic. They take mostly plastic of grocery bags, polythene waste, and they recycle it. As far as MLP, chips packet, and all those are concerned, the the solution for that is still concentrated in big cities. The
Mhm.
solution for that is not there in smaller cities. That MLP in some cases is converted into something called RDF. RDF means refuse derived fuel. So nowadays the cement factories, they need a lot of energy to run their clinkers. So they need heat energy, and to generate heat they need some fuel. Mostly that fuel is coal, and cement factories need to replace coal with alternate fuel, and this RDF is another alternate fuel. RDF is made from all the reject waste. It includes MLP, it includes uh, torn cloths, it includes some part of wet waste also. Wet waste in the sense uh, dry shells of coconut and all those things. So this all constitutes RDF, and that is used in cement factories. With continued focus of government through Swachh Bharat mission, these RDF facilities are now being set up in smaller cities also. Earlier, they were only in big cities like Mumbai, Pune, Aurangabad, Nagpur. Now those RDF facilities are being set up in smaller cities like Ichalkaranji, Kolhapur, then Amravati. So even in these smaller cities, the plastic waste may not be recycled, but it is finding some value in energy recovery,
Mm.
in replacing coal. So that is one option. Then another option is if you can really uh, accumulate some quantum of plastic waste on a monthly basis. Let us say you segregate the plastic in your homes or in your colleges and you keep it separate for a month, and let us say there are 100 people who collect their plastic, so that the quantity of plastic becomes around say 100 kg or 500 kg. Then there will be many associations, NGOs or companies who will be interested in coming to your doorstep and collecting that plastic. They will then segregate that plastic as per the polymer and then recycle it. So these things are happening uh, to some larger extent in metros. In Pune, Mumbai, Aurangabad, you will find these things that you keep some quantum of plastic waste on a regular basis, sufficient quantum, and someone will come and collect that plastic from you. But in smaller towns, yes, as you said, it's still a challenge. RDF is one of the way, and then giving it for recycling if it is a grocery or poly bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a one comment from Kaustu. He's from Thakur College, Mumbai, and he had suggested that we should pass on the lab coats drawing stationery thing, and it is, I think, done systematically by their green club, and now the plastic is so they kind of reuse these things and pass on to their next batch and their next colleague. So they are avoiding just single use thing,
Yeah.
and they are passing on to others. Nice, really nice initiative, Kosu. uh, मेरा और भी एक ये था कि social lab as a can say startup or as a consultant, you are quite involved with the urban local bodies, particularly मेट्रो से लेके मेट्रो सिटीज से लेके छोटे टाउन तक.
Yes.
तो जब आप देखते हो कि उनके इसमें एक तो है कि अवेयरनेस इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ मैंडेट कि वो स्वच्छ भारत अभियान के अंडर एक आपको अवेयरनेस करना है. सो बट अवेयरनेस इज क्वाइट टेकन इज अ काइंड ऑफ कि एक स्ट्रीट प्ले कर दिया कहीं पे, वॉल पेंटिंग कर दिया कहीं पे, होर्डिंग कुछ इधर उधर लगा दिया, एंड अवेयरनेस इज डन, which doesn't really help if you see. Then but when I also interact with you or Rahul, so I know how social lab works in this field particularly. So awareness के related आपकी जो particular methodology है, तो उसके बारे में if you can just tell us briefly, which is quite effective, I would say, and quite sustainable also for this town behavior change related particular.
Yes. So अवेयरनेस जो होता है वो इंटरैक्टिव होना चाहिए. जब तक लोगों को पता नहीं चलेगा कि ये अ, उनको एग्जैक्टली exactly क्या करना है, कब करना है और कैसे करना है, वो नॉट नेसेसरली करेंगे. पोस्टर वगैरह चिपकाने से वो बात उनके माइंड में हमेशा रहती है कि ऐसा करना चाहिए. बट जब उनको एक पर्टिकुलर एक्शन लेना होता है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल डस्टबिन में वेस्ट डालना है, so at that point of time they may not remember कि they need to do this. तो ये एक्शन पॉइंट्स जो होते हैं उनके, वो एक्शन पॉइंट्स आइडेंटिफाई करके वी नीड टू इंटरेक्ट विद देम. तो इसके लिए व्हाट वी डू इज वी हम नुक्कड़ नाटक करते हैं, वी डू स्ट्रीट प्ले, वी डू सम कंपटीशंस. वो इन महाराष्ट्र, इन मराठी देयर इज अ फेमस क्या है, होम मिनिस्टर करके एक प्रोग्राम है. सो on those lines, we engage the mostly the females in the households and do some quiz competitions or nukkad natak and try to engage them ki what should be their action when they are trying to discard the waste. So this is one thing. Second thing is no one really wants to uh, have waste in their surrounding. तो जब तक उनको आप आप कितना भी उनको बोलो कि आपको वेस्ट सेग्रीगेट करके देना है, मोस्ट केसेस में द आंसर दैट यू गेट इज आई विल डू सेग्रीगेशन, बट द सैनिटेशन स्टाफ जो आता है वो मिक्स कर देता है. सो व्हाट्स द पॉइंट इन आई डूइंग इट. तो जब तक उनको रिजल्ट नहीं दिखते, they also are not encouraged. So when they start seeing the result that their society is being cleaned, their town is being cleaned, they don't see any reason for not doing it. This we have observed very prominently in cities like Ratnagiri, Shindkheda, then even in Pune, there is a locality called Model Colony. Vadarwadi is there. Around 50,000 population is there. There we saw that the waste collection increased very significantly. If a waste picker was able to do, let us say, 20 houses per day, they were able to do 40 houses because the number of uh, quality of waste segregation improved. So when people actually start seeing results, it's a chain effect. The others are also encouraged automatically to do those things. So the individual behavior change is also important, but the group behavior change is also important. And to do that, we need to have proper interactions at regular levels, as well as we need to start showing results from very early stages. Then only people can actually start putting efforts in doing this. So this is what I can say about that. And the other factor is we do quite a lot of interaction training with sanitation staff, because ultimately sanitation staff, waste keeper, these are the only stakeholders who are going to ensure that the system is operating the way it should operate. Yeah.
Yes, another comment from Harsh. Specific supervision should be taken by government each week, like in countries like Japan. The government cleaning department cleans the entire city, uh, and also go that the way people don't get up if the government shows relaxed attitude, and they will think that we are doing so much in our daily lives. How will they spend our time in that? Okay, so yeah, I think behavior change में and इसमें काफी आता है कि लोकल काइंड ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर एंड हार्डवेयर हमेशा हैंड इन हैंड नहीं जाता है वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में. व्हाट आई सी, इफ
Mhm.
द गवर्नमेंट हैज काइंड ऑफ अवेयरनेस वगैरह आपने सब कर दिया, अगर गवर्नमेंट के पास उतनी लोकल गवर्नमेंट के पास उतनी व्हीकल्स ही नहीं है या फिर उतना ह्यूमन रिसोर्स ही नहीं है ताकि वो पूरे लोकेलिटी का वेस्ट कलेक्ट करे, या फिर आफ्टर दैट द प्रोसेसिंग इज लैकिंग, उसके प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट्स अभी रेडी नहीं है. सो ये आई थिंक इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ मल्टीपल वे से इस प्रॉब्लम को एड्रेस करने की जरूरत पड़ती है, कि काइंड ऑफ इफ द हार्डवेयर इज रेडी बट सॉफ्टवेयर इज नॉट देयर, plant is there but people are not segregating the waste, then there is no use. And if the people are segregating but the forward linkage or the plant is not ready till, like for example composting thing or something, then it will not work. So it's a kind of a uh, ये issue हो जाता है I think काफी cities में also.
ये काफी सिटीज में
How
होता
you?
है. समवेयर गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी इज ऑल्सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट. मतलब जैसे ये स्वच्छ भारत इनिशियली आया था, उस टाइम पे काफी फंड्स पुश किए गए थे मशीनरी परचेस करने के लिए, एंड लोगों ने जोश जोश में मशीनरी परचेस कर ली एंड दे डोंट नो हाउ टू ऑपरेट इट. नाउ इट इज लाइंग आइडल. उसका कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. बट सी, मशीनरी can only, the hardware, as you are saying, hardware can only help you in addressing the problem in a better way.
हम्म।
बेसिक स्टार्ट जो होता है वो सेग्रीगेशन एट सोर्स से ही स्टार्ट होता है।
या।
अगर वहां पे प्रॉपर सेग्रीगेशन हो रहा है, वेट एंड ड्राई वेस्ट का सेग्रीगेशन हो रहा है, सो इररेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ whether
या।
you have funds or not, whether you have machinery or not, there will be someone or there will be market mechanism to take care of that waste.
यस।
अगर प्रॉपर सेग्रीगेशन वगैरह सब हो रहा है तो कोई ना कोई तो वेस्ट पिकर उठा लेगा, कोई ना कोई तो कबाड़ी वाला
हाँ।
उठा लेगा, कोई ना कोई तो गार्डनर उस वेस्ट को ले लेगा। मतलब ये सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स जिनकी वजह से इम्प्लीमेंट हुए थे इंडिया में, देर इज अ लेडी, इफ यू रिमेम्बर द नेम,
या।
अलमित्रा पटेल।
अलमित्रा पटेल, यस।
यस, अलमित्रा
या।
पटेल, हाँ, तो उनका एक इंटरव्यू देखा था मैंने। सो शी वाज सेइंग कि अर्लियर इन 1970s और 80s वेट वेस्ट का प्रॉब्लम था ही नहीं। फार्मर वगैरह अपना ट्रैक्टर वगैरह लेके आते थे शहर में, और जो हाउस होल्ड्स है वो अपना सारा वेट वेस्ट उनके ट्रैक्टर में डालते थे, एंड देन द फार्मर्स यूज टू टेक दैट वेस्ट वेस्ट टू देयर फील्ड एंड कंपोस्ट इट। तो आई डोंट नो, आई हैव नेवर सीन दिस, बट शी हैज मेंशन्ड दिस इन वन ऑफ द इंटरव्यूज। तो वेट वेस्ट अगर उसका क्वालिटी अच्छा है, उसमें अगर प्लास्टिक पेपर क्लॉथ वगैरह मिक्स नहीं है, देन some there will be someone who will find value in it, and it will get converted into something useful. Same thing will happen with dry waste also, plastic, paper, glass, metal, anything.
यस, एंड आई थिंक जो अलमित्रा पटेल जी ने, आई थिंक उनको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक एक्सपर्ट कमिटी बनाई थी और उसमें शी वाज अ मेंबर और मे बी
Yeah.
हेड ऑफ दैट कमिटी। आई डोंट, आई
Yes.
थिंक इट्स अराउंड मिनिमम 30 years बैक दैट
Yeah,
थिंग हैपेंड।
1998 something.
एंड
Yes.
उनका आई थिंक ये जो था, सो मेन उनके कमिटी के जो फाइंडिंग्स थे इसमें, द मेन था कि सेग्रीगेट करो। दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग, एज यू आल्सो मेंशन कि
Yes.
सोर्स पे अगर जितना वेस्ट सेग्रीगेट होता है, then the whole things become quite easier as
Huh.
compared to I think. And I think still we are in now 2023, after maybe
Yes.
20-25 years also we are talking the same thing कि
Same thing. Yes.
segregate करो। So अभी तक वहां पे I think we haven't, like, behavior change is quite much needed कि segregation जब तक नहीं होता।
Yes.
सिमिलरली जो हमारा वाटर कंजर्वेशन का प्रोग्राम है, जैसे ग्रीन क्लब लोग अब सब कर रहे हैं, 7 वाटर कंजर्वेशन एक्शन चैलेंजेस, we're also talking about a kind of a behavior change. It's
Hmm.
related to water, but similarly, I think waste management हो या फिर water conservation हो, this behavior change पे ही हम कहीं पे आते हैं कि that's the key thing, कि इसको इग्नोर करके आप कहीं से भी बड़ी बड़ी टेक्नोलॉजी लाओ, कुछ भी करो, that will not help
Yeah.
unless these things are in order.
Basic
So I
things are
think
in place.
that's,
Yes.
yeah. Or if people are rewarded in some way for segregation, then it becomes more impactful. Do you have any experience kind of thing? How the carrot and stick kind of a thing, how it works in this behavior change thing?
इसमें एक ऑप्शन है, उसको डिजिटल डिपॉजिट रिफंड सिस्टम बोलते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, लेट अस से मिल्क पाउच है। मिल्क पाउच नॉर्मली हम डिस्कार्ड करते हैं। एक मिल्क पाउच या एक, फॉर लेट अस से 1 लीटर मिल्क हमें 70 रुपीज पे करना पड़ता है। नाउ जो कंपनी है, इट विल सेट द प्राइस नॉट 70 बट 72, एंड 2 रुपीज will be refunded back to you if you bring back the milk pouch in a clean manner। तो आपको जो एक्स्ट्रा पैसा भरना पड़ा है वो वापस मिल जाएगा। इसको डिपॉजिट रिफंड सिस्टम बोलते हैं। बिकॉज सी, ये ये जो प्रॉब्लम है, इस प्रॉब्लम में जब तक सब लोग अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करते तब तक ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होने वाला। ये अगर हम हमेशा ऐसे दूसरों पे डालते रहेंगे कि नहीं ये इसको करना है, उसको करना है, तो ये प्रॉब्लम कभी सॉल्व नहीं होगा। सो व्हेन गवर्नमेंट ने तो गवर्नमेंट का काम कर दिया, गवर्नमेंट ने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सेट कर दी कि कंपनी को ये करना है, एंड इट्स अ लीगल ऑब्लिगेशन, दैट्स व्हाई द कंपनीज आर डूइंग इट। बट एज अ कंज्यूमर इट्स आवर ऑब्लिगेशन टू सेग्रीगेट द वेस्ट। If we say ki we need some reward or some other things, then I mean, I as such don't have answer for this because it's your basic responsibility. You must
Yeah.
do this. You cannot expect someone to come and reward you for doing basic job.
Yes. And I think even I would like to share with all participants also कि Shailesh is not only working, is उनका सिर्फ career नहीं है ये waste management, but at home also I think Shailesh is doing a lot of stuff like composting thing. I have seen is compost. Then saplings I think आप आपने 100 plus I think mango saplings आपने घर में prepare किए थे.
Yes,
I
yes.
think 2 years back, and even bioenzyme thing I also remember.
Yeah.
So जो अपना सिट्रस फ्रूट वेस्ट फ्रूट के
Citrus.
पील्स होते हैं उससे बायो एंजाइमिंग जो हैड में सो शैलेश का एक नॉट ओनली इट्स हिज करियर बट आल्सो हिज पैशन आई गेस आई थिंक इसके ऊपर भी हमें और एक वेबिनार शायद करना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट एन इंडिविजुअल कैन डू हिज ओन कंट्रीब्यूशन इफ इट्स अ more interested thing. It just segregation is the
Yes.
basic thing which we can expect from an individual. But apart from that, it's a kind of a lot of learning is there, lot of joyful things these are कि कंपोज करना वो जब अपने घर के प्लांट को हम डालते हैं तो उनका जो ग्रोथ होता है वो एक्चुअली ऑब्जर्व करना आई थिंक इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ जॉयफुल थिंग आल्सो सो या सो उसके ऊपर भी शायद we need to have another session कि what an individual can do and you can also share your experience some photo videos also that will be another great thing yeah मैं और एक भी जानना चाहता था कि जब अब जैसे एमएलपी के बारे में हमने बात की मल्टी लेयर प्लास्टिक लेस कुरकुरे एंड अदर थिंग्स दैट चिप्स पैकेट वगैरह तो एक तो उनको एपीआर का मैंडेट है तो थ्रू दैट दे आर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द रिसाइकलिंग थिंग एटलीस्ट अप टू सर्टेन एक्सटेंट बट यहाँ पे रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में भी कुछ पैकेजिंग मटेरियल ही ऐसा हो ताकि वो रिसाइकल करने के लिए ज्यादा इशू ना क्रिएट करे लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल milk packets. Those are, I think, relatively easily recyclable as compared to MLP or maybe PET bottles. So, उसमें R&D के इसमें if you know any kind of a development there or some kind of efforts, packaging material को ही ऐसा ये करे,
There,
sustainable बनाए.
there are a lot of things going on. For example, हम प्लास्टिक बॉटल जो बिस्लरी बॉटल जो लेते हैं, देर
हम्म.
आर 3 different polymers in that bottle. बॉटल का जो
Okay.
कैप होता है, that is made from a plastic called polypropylene.
हम्म.
Short form PP बोलते हैं उसको. Then the bottle is made from a plastic called PET. पेट बॉटल बोलते हैं उसको. एंड हर एक प्लास्टिक बॉटल पे लेबल होता है.
हम्म.
हाँ, वो लेबल बनता है मोस्टली पीवीसी से या फिर बीओपीपी से, which is
Oh.
another polymer. So when we throw the bottle, उसमें 3 अलग-अलग प्लास्टिक पॉलीमर्स है एंड हर एक पॉलीमर का रिसाइकलिंग अलग तरह से करना पड़ता है. In many cases, you will see bottle crushing machines. Mostly railway stations पे वगैरह दिखते हैं या if you go to gardens, you will see these machines which crush the bottle, which is actually not good because that is mixing all the plastic. उसका रिसाइकलिंग नहीं हो सकता फिर. Now there are some companies which are working on this, and for example, Chitle is a very well-known company in Maharashtra, and they have developed that label which is made from PET. Now that bottle can be recycled entirely just by removing the cap. Earlier, the label that was made from BOPP or PVC that had to be sent to cement factory only because there is no disposal option for that.
Yeah.
Now that bottle can be recycled entirely. So this is very good innovation in this. The other case with respect to uh, multi-layered structure. Well, companies are trying to use single polymer in developing this packaging. Uh, for example, when we say edible oil pouch,
Mm-hmm.
1 liter,
Yeah.
or that pouch is there na, there are 7 layers in that pouch.
Oh.
We don't know, but there are 7 layers. Uh, there is LDP, there is LLDP, then there is nylon. In some cases, there can be polyester also. So that pouch can never be recycled into individual these things. And
Mhm.
this structure is made to ensure that the product remains stable, because if the pouch gets uh, damaged, then the
Yeah.
oil will be lost or something will be lost. So this entire engineering of that plastic is done to ensure that there are no damages to the product. But now companies are also trying to develop single material plastic packaging. They have developed in some cases also. I don't remember right now, but there are some cases where they have replaced this MLP with single layer packaging. So on that front also, this is going on. And again, the efforts are going on in all directions. There are efforts in redesigning the plastic packaging. There are efforts in recycling the plastic packaging also, like chemical recycling of Reliance, I was telling. Then there are many other technologies also for recycling, wherein there are very advanced technologies wherein these polymers can be separated. Like
Uh, yeah.
many of you might have seen that the water bottle of Kinley is now made using recycled plastic. In the last 3 or 4 months, they have launched such recycled plastic water bottles in India. You can go to the website of Coca-Cola or Kinley and find more about it. In India, it is being recycled only once, but in Europe, it is recycled 5 times. So the technology has advanced to that level also.
Another question is from Uddhav Bhale sir. So he's asking how we can deposit and collect the empty milk packets, particularly from rural areas, and sent from recycling or can be recycled there. About milk packets, empty milk packets.
So if you can garner a sufficient quantity, accumulate it for a month or let us say 2 months, there will be someone in if you can tell me the name of the rural area, I can help you in identifying. There will be someone who will take it, or there is a YouTuber, uh, Eco Yatri or someone who does videos on every Wednesday. And in one of the videos, he has mentioned that there are some ladies in Mumbai who accept milk packets.
I had met her, I think, Hansu, you know, हर घर हरा घर करके उनका एक संस्था है
I
or
don't
something
know.
different. Okay.
Yeah, Eco Freak or someone is there who makes videos on every Wednesday on different topics related to recycling or sustainable living. In one of the video, he has mentioned that there are some ladies who accept milk packets and send it for recycling. But it's not necessary to send it all the way to Mumbai by courier or something. I am sure ki you can find someone locally.
Another question is from Vedant. There are many videos on internet that while throwing the plastic bottle, you should squeeze the cap of it and put it in the bottle and then throw it. So as the cap is there in the bottle, it is difficult to remove it so that it could be recycled. Okay. So I think it's a kind of a मैंने भी शायद ये वीडियो देखा था और उससे कि वो कैप अंदर डाल के then you throw it so that it can't be reused also without
Yes,
maybe sanitizing it. And also I think related to I think it another question कि काफी इसमें MLP या अदर लो वैल्यू प्लास्टिक ये बॉटल्स में डाल के उसका इको ब्रिक बनाने का कंसेप्ट काफी आया है.
that
So
is
how much
disastrous.
is that? Ha, yeah, actually.
That's a
Can you
disaster.
just share because I think many people like that idea. Many videos we see around the eco bricks and all. But I so what's the exactly
Eco
technical problem can you share?
eco
And also
brick
this
is
thing.
like eco brick is like uh, you are pushing today's problem to tomorrow. That plastic is going to remain, nothing is going to happen to that. Let us say after 20 years that house gets collapsed and we recover all the plastic. What do we do with that? There is no solution to that. You are mixing all kinds of different polymers in a single PET bottle, which cannot be recycled. The only option is burning it, or it will eventually get converted into microplastic. Better option is segregate it properly and give it for recycling.
Yeah. एंड आई
हाँ,
थिंक जो पीईटी बॉटल है जो अदरवाइज अच्छा रिसाइकल हो सकता है वो भी उसमें
वो भी
इट्स ऑफ नो
yes.
यूज राइट
Yeah,
नाउ
for
या
example, the shirt that you see right now, the shirt that I'm wearing, this shirt is made from recycled PET bottle.
ओह
11 bottles go into manufacturing of this shirt. Yeah, and this is 100% plastic. There is no cotton in this. Yeah,
सो बट even I think as you mentioned कि textile industry को भी like EPR is now getting mandated in some countries. I
yeah,
think eventually it will come to India also because when we were working in Surat in Urban Ocean project, so it was a issue कि Surat has a lot of textile thing.
yeah,
ऑलमोस्ट एवरी हाउस होल्ड में वहां पे टेक्सटाइल का कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता है एट दिस दे जनरेट दिस काइंड ऑफ अ माइक्रो प्लास्टिक थिंग कि किसी
yes,
साड़ी के ऊपर वो लगाने वाला कुछ बिंदी है या सम
yes,
काइंड ऑफ अ
yes,
डेकोरेटिव थिंग है इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ काइंड ऑफ माइक्रो स्मॉल fragments are getting generated. I think it's they are ultimately ended up into either soil or in water bodies or something like that. So unless we manage it properly, the textile is also biggest one of the biggest I think plastic
yeah,
producing or
yes,
waste producing. I think
yeah,
yeah. Yes, thank you. Uh, yeah, Vedant is asking you didn't answer your question whether it is good to throw the cap in the bottle and then discarding it. I think you have answered already. Yeah. PET bottle, if you
yeah.
squeeze the cap and put it
See,
in the bottle, how it
there
is
are,
good or bad.
there is no clear answer to this because why people ask you to put the cap inside the bottle is to avoid fraud. There will be someone who will pack any kind of water in the same bottle and sell it in the name of Bisleri. Ultimately, it will harm us as a consumer. But again, if that cap is going inside the bottle, it is not helping in recycling. So there, if you are sure that it will go for recycling, then don't do that. But if you are at some other place where you are not sure, then you can put the cap inside and squeeze it.
Yes, thank you. Uh, Thank you very much, Shailesh. I think the questions are still coming up. I think we need to have some another webinar where we can cover these individual practices also. मुझे अभी लगा कि शायद हमें वो वेबिनार भी कर लेना चाहिए था इसी के साथ में भी अनदर सीरीज कि
Hmm.
how an individual can do with his household waste or you can do some spending some minimum time and helping the environment and their local body also. So I
Yes.
think इस पे हम और एक वेबिनार करेंगे जरूर. So thank you very much, Shailesh, for sharing your inputs, your knowledge, and your experience with us. And it was very helpful for all of us to mainly do's, don'ts, and what overall this waste management thing में क्या नए trends है, like EPR, क्या career opportunities है for youth, and what is the expected basic expected behavior from an individual regarding their responsibility in waste management. I think it was
Yes.
really helpful for us. Thank you everyone for who joined this webinar. And next week we will meet again Saturday, same time, 5 to 6, with one another distinguished speaker with us. And till then, have a happy New Year to everyone, and have a good day. Yes, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy New
Thank you,
Year. Yeah.
Shailesh. Yeah,
Yeah.
happy.
Bye.